so you can always watch the game.
No doubt. Thank you so much.
My apologies. Do
No,
you want
no
to try
problem.
one last time, Zakaria?
Okay, I will do. I'll do
Okay,
that.
sure. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks.
No problem. No problem.
Tamer, are you still there?
Yes, I am there.
So it looks like we can't get rid of you.
No problem at all. I am now a partnership with you.
Yeah, good. I'm a little worried about the others. Finally,
I give you a small advice. Next time, we log in like 10 or 15 minutes before the actual time of the training. And for example, if the training will start at 3 o'clock, we request all the participants to log on in 2:50. So in these 10 minutes, in case of some technical problem, someone have missing voices or images, at least we can fix it in advance.
I would agree with you.
Very true. We should do that. Thanks, Tamer.
You are most welcome.
Very good. Nilayappan Pillai, are you able to see us now?
No, he also had a problem. He sent me a screenshot on the private WhatsApp to me.
Okay.
That it is showing as Gangadhar Krishna started screen sharing.
Okay.
But he's not able to see the audio nor the video. And also Malvika from Delhi.
I see. I'm just wondering how to resolve this.
Yeah. Do you want to mention it here?
But it's got to be as simple as join the meeting and webinar, and that's it. It should go that way. It should be rather seamless. That's what I thought.
Yes. See, we did conclude a session yesterday and we didn't have any problem. So it's just today.
You don't have that, right?
Okay, let me see if I can help.
No, you have the app downloaded? Yeah. Okay, then it's okay. No, mine is I always hook up through app. Same thing. Yeah. Okay.
As of now, we don't know exactly how many people are having this challenge.
You just need to click again the one that the link sent. That's how I was able now to hear and view you.
So you logged in again?
Yes, yes. The first one you sent is not functioning. The one you send again, I click it. That's the one I was able to enter now.
I see. In fact, it was the same link, but
Yeah.
someone pointed out there was a space at the end.
Yeah, I think there was a problem that first one. Now the second one, I saw again there's a mail from you.
Okay.
I click it. I was able to now enter the webinar.
Oh, okay. That's
yeah, I
very
think that's
good,
what they
very
should
good.
do. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Stephen. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Open the number. No, it's be open. No, we can't go there because
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay.
Yes, I'm in. And it,
You're in. Okay, brilliant.
that works.
Is there anyone else having problem in that they are unable to see the video or the presentation slides?
I think Naliappa is trying to sign in. There's been some small issue in the link itself, in the sense when you copy paste the link and send it to people, half the link is showing in blue and the other half is showing in black. The human reaction is to go and click the blue straight away, and that's only half a link.
Yeah, that's the one.
And that's the problem that happened earlier.
Okay.
Yes, I just realized that half the link, so you need to copy the link and paste the whole link together
Yes.
until that HMJ ending.
My
Correct.
goodness.
That's the one.
I've done the blunder. My apologies.
So I just realized when I sent it that half the link was showing in blue and the text is showing in black. I said, hey, that's amiss. There's something wrong there.
Okay.
That's the one.
So shall we start?
Yes?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think majority is already logged in.
Okay, brilliant.
I'll just forward this one to Naliappa because he's just waiting. The one that
Okay.
Glenn has
Sure.
sent me, and I just keep my fingers crossed that it would work for him and he would be able to join. And I think with that, let's get going.
Yes.
Let me go back to, okay. Can I please see a show of hands or a thumbs up if you all can see the PowerPoint screen as well as my or our screens? Thanks, Glenn. Anybody else, please, can you just respond, especially people who cannot or who had a challenge? Suneet, Stephen, Naliappa, Malvika. Okay, wonderful. I've got a yes from quite a few people. So, and yes, Zakaria also confirms. I suppose we should just get going from here onwards. All right. So where did I start, or where did I leave when I started? In 2015, as I resigned a full-time job because my book was published, and I didn't realize that I'm going to be getting ready for the COVID-19 challenge. Because going from a 9-to-5 job and sitting at home is a huge paradigm shift, which I can perfectly understand. I can imagine what it's like. It requires plenty of self-effort, how you're going to handle the whole situation. And at that time, yes, I was wondering, I had my schedules haywire, even sometimes now it goes haywire, but then you try to get it and see how best you can adjust it. But one of the basic things I thought I must keep in mind and see if I can shift my office home is, now if you all can see, you see a water bottle here? Just a thumbs up, please. Can you see a water bottle here? Great, Malvika can, and so can. Then there's a mobile phone. There's a landline phone. So when I get and sit together with these, which are my office working tools, obviously my laptop, I would put myself into a state where I'm in an office environment. And I've been trying to practice that regime and trying to work with that I'm sitting on the dining table and working with these things. I'm in an office and I need to work according to that. So it was a huge challenge, but I found that it can be met and we can overcome it. It's not difficult. What I also want to tell today is that what I'm talking about is not something that's very new. In fact, it's not at all new to anybody. Because this topic touches each and every individual present here. In fact, it touches every human being walking this planet. Nobody has escaped from either being a customer or from delivering to a customer and ensuring the customers are satisfied. in our early years, we always had service and satisfaction, but in exchange, you always got a smile on a thank you or a God bless kind of a thing. Except that when you start working and get into a work environment, it becomes customer service, and the entire scenario shifts, and the concepts have a very different meaning. It becomes more transactional. So keeping that in mind, I feel each and every one of us is a customer here, and each and every one of us is a service provider. I would request that you please keep yourself engaged and participate through the course of the next couple of hours, because it will then make the meeting more lively, energetic, and it'll take the whole thing forward, where we will be able to gather and gain something from it. Do I get a thumbs up for there? Can I please see some thumbs up for that? Thank you, Zakaria. Anybody else? Thanks, Malvika. Great. So we are going ahead with overcoming customer service challenges in 2020 and beyond. Now, before I move in, let me give you a very quick introduction of what I have been doing and why I got into tying up with Serendip and delivering this webinar for you. A very quick brief is that I've been in various industries. I used to be in the travel agencies. I used to work for an airline. I used to work for retail banking in UAE. I worked for a courier service company in Australia, and then I moved back to join a construction company. Now, all these put together, I found that I was in all different directions, and the only thing common in all these were one thing, and that was the customer. And with that in mind, I started writing for the newspapers, and then from there, it moved on to doing regular articles. I did for Gulf News, for Khaleej Times, Dubai Quality Group, and various other newspapers here. And during the course of that, I came with the theory of service excellence, and finally, I published my book on customer service. It's a pretty unique book in the sense it's illustrative. It's only got pictures inside, there's no text. It's a compilation of 202 illustrations on customer services, what I would call as an illustrative business book. This book is available in various other formats, and that's just more for information than anything else. It can be opened as a book, or it can be used as a tabletop tent where you can keep it on your table and learn from it every day. But what led to the theory of service excellence is the 4 pillars of service excellence, 4 pillars that hold service in place. After a lot of study, we thought there must be some things that should be holding service excellence in place. Now, what could be these prime factors that is holding service in place? The reason I'm going to be discussing this is because service in the COVID situation now and beyond is not going to change if we are in a position to hold on to these 4 pillars. That's the reason I need to move this as a curtain raiser, for which I got copyrights, and share this with you, because I feel that it would add huge value in how you can manage the service when you're delivering for your customers. So the 4 pillars of service excellence, we find that in every organization, departments are there. You have operations, you have accounts, you have finance, you have HR, you have the management, you have the front line, everybody is there. But the question is, does each and every employee have the same amount of focus, or as a matter of fact, have the focus on the customer? This is the primary question we need to ask ourselves. Often than not, HR is more interested in recruitment, onboarding maybe, or how things are running within the organization. Finance is concerned more with saving money and trying to put a nice green budget for the management team. The customer service team is definitely more interested. Their focus is on the customer, and they don't want to get the brunt of the customer. Operations is more concerned with how they're going to hold the back end part of things. So each one have their priorities. Question is, how can we ensure that each and everybody act as ambassadors for the company? How can we make that paradigm shift from looking beyond the silos that we are in and seeing the big picture of where our customers are, our bread and butter, and how we are going to take the organization and yourself ahead with the company. So importantly, we need to see if the initiatives are in alignment or it is not aligned. I want to ask you a question and I would like some response. As a customer walking into a store, I get upset when? What would be your response if I had to ask you, as a customer walking into a store, I get upset when? Any of you, 2, 3, 4, all of you. In fact, I would say if you're having hesitations to raise your hand and share into a conversation, you can even put it in the form of a chat because we shall be monitoring the chat. So please, may I ask a few, anybody, what gets you upset when you go to a shop or go to a store as a customer?
When no one notices your entrance or give you a greeting.
Tamir, can you just repeat that once more, please?
When no one notices your entrance or greet you in a proper way.
Wonderful. Can I request you one thing, Tamir, please? Just write down whatever you said there that nobody notices when you enter. Am I right?
Okay, sure.
Wonderful. We need to address this once again at the end of the session. That's the reason I'm asking you to just keep that and park it aside. And who else? Stephen, did you have something, or Sunit?
When you give your what you need, but they don't respond immediately, it will really freak you out.
Okay, pardon? I didn't catch on.
When you give what you needed, but then the response was as if they don't know anything. So
do you mean that's like indifference or lack of product knowledge?
Yes, that's correct.
What is it? Indifference or lack of product knowledge?
Lack of product knowledge and including indifference.
Just please park that and keep it with you. Anybody else, please?
For me, it's when I go to any of the sections and I turn around and try to find a customer service somebody there to answer my questions, and you literally need to search for them, and then you need to go to another section and ask, is there anyone here? And then go and call somebody else.
Yeah. Otherwise, if you have a glass in your hand, just throw it down so gather attention, right?
Probably.
Okay, so which means basically it's another form of indifference whereby though they are in Stephen's case, they are there, but you know, they have lack of product knowledge. In your case, there's nobody in the department and you go hunting for someone there. All right, another 10 seconds. Anybody else would like to share something? Anybody on the chat? Okay, Glenn says when he is not acknowledged. Wonderful. All right, so just park these little words aside and keep it with you, and we shall review them once again in a very short while. So as a customer, these are some of the things that upset you. Now, what exactly is service excellence? To many people, it could be many things. It could be a smile, it can be an empowerment, it can be a promotion, reduction in price, efficiency, systems, complaint handling, frontline, punctuation. It can be a lot of things because customer service is that challenge that it is as varied as the customer and the number of people there. And even with the customer, it could vary between day 1 and day 2 because he doesn't come with the same mood every day. His moods change.
Excuse me,
Yes?
Glenn would like to share.
Certainly.
Glenn, please go ahead.
Are you off audio, Glenn?
His mic is open. He's raised his hand.
I can see
Glenn?
both that, but I couldn't hear him.
Okay, let's continue.
Just see if he has anything on the chat for us.
Okay, he's just mentioned when I'm not acknowledged, nothing beyond that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Malvika also feels when you ask for something and are passed on to another customer representative instead, it comes off as very insensitive. Thank you, Malvika. So take a simple example. You've gone into a bank today. You found a parking. You have all the free time to go to the bank, speak to the teller, chat, have a cup of tea, and then leave. The very next day, you find that there is no time for you. You have to rush as soon as you came in. You don't have time for the teller. Now, you are in a rush. The teller is wondering what happened to this person. He was fine yesterday. Today, he's all in a rush and he's not even willing to talk to me, smile. It just simply could be that you did not get a parking today. You got a parking yesterday and you have to rush out. You double park the car and come. So the customer reaction, the customer is the same. The reactions are different in different days. So this is the kind of challenge. This is the beauty of customer service, actually. So every person has different expectations. Everybody has different challenges when it comes to customer expectations, customer service, and no 2 days are the same. No 2 customers are the same. No same customer is the same in the 2 days. It differs from day to day and person to person, mood to mood. Having said that, one of the key pillars that hold service in place is your attitude to serve. Now, I am going to be talking more on customer service, which is coming from or which stems from the heart than the head. No sooner a service stems from the head, the essence or the meaning or the beauty of service gets transferred into something more commercial. When it comes from attitude, from a heart, it has a different connotation altogether. Let's say you have a guest coming home. How would you treat him? Would you have that smile for him? Would you take care of him well? And you treat this customer who's walking into your establishment, coming to meet you or talk to you. What kind of an attitude would you have? Would you have that kind of a smile? How would you take care of him when he comes in? Would you be wanting to help him? So this is one of the primary areas. Let me give you an example as we go ahead. I was flying in one of the domestic carriers in India, and I have a crazy cough. And even I do off and on, it just gives me an attack of bursts of cough. And as I was coughing, obviously everybody's heads turned towards me, but from nowhere, there was this in-flight crew. Her name is Chelsea. I remember because I have her recording as one of the service champs. She came from nowhere and she just gave me a glass of water. And the beauty of it was she did not give me a glass of water. She got me a glass of warm water. Now that shows an empathy and attitude to help somebody who might be in some kind of a situation. So she really went out of her way and she had the right mindset to help a passenger who's sitting in the aircraft. This plays a very important role. Have you ever seen this kind of a scenario? This is just a leaf from my book. Delighting customers is giving him a genuine smile. How often have you seen these plastic smile? Can I see a show of hand? It doesn't take you more than 10 seconds to find whether this person is genuinely smiling at you or it is not so. And I have a crazy thing. I sit in an aircraft. No sooner I sit, I want to see the smile. The moment I see the smile and I pass by, I turn my head to see if the smile remains or how fast it changes. And it's very educational if you do that, because no sooner you've gone past, the smile changes and then you find, oh my God, guy's gone, kind of a stuff. You know whether the smile is coming from your head or your heart. This is where attitude comes in. Some of the simple ways you can shift and change your attitude is to think positively. Listen to what a person is asking or requesting you. Understand what they're trying to, how are they getting things across. Be nice. It never harms. Irrespective of where you are, you might be in an in-flight, or you might be in operations, or it might be in a store environment, you might be in a hotel, you might be in a hospital, you might be in a school. It never harms to be nice to the person across the other side. Stop complaining. Try and see if you can embrace laughter. Surround yourself with positive people. If there's any more suggestions I can hear from the audience, I would love it. This is just a sprinkle that I thought let me put them up for you all. Anybody else would like to contribute on how you can change your attitude or get into a better frame of mind?
Don't mix the personal problem with the work problems.
Absolutely. Leave your work problem at home. I mean, personal problems at home and work problem in the office, and vice versa.
Yes.
Fantastic. That's when you have the right attitude towards your customers and towards your family. Anybody else? Okay. You can always add, you can always share, even a little later. There's no hurry. Or you may have even experienced this. You were in a fast food, delighting customers is bending rules to satisfy him or the customer. So we don't serve breakfast after 10 o'clock and the clock behind says 10:01. There are quite a few times people do say that, sorry, we don't bend rules, we can't serve you now. It's gone past breakfast time. Have you come across situations like this?
Is home included in this?
Not really. It's not a fast food in the first place. And if you had to have timings at home, yes, Zakaria, you're right. We've all seen this in various places. This is just an example, that's all. So you have to have a little bit of a shift, a flexibility in your attitude and when you're dealing with people. End of the day, service is all about dealing with people. You're not dealing with machines. And human interactions are very varied, as we just started off with. Having seen that, the next most important pillar that we keep is how well do you communicate? Communication is one of the key in keeping a customer in a state that he understands what you are doing, how are you serving him, what are you doing for him, or anything else about your product, about your processes, or anything about your price reductions, whatever it must be. Do you communicate with your customer? It plays a very key role. Take a simple example. I came across this, and I normally have the habit of saving these kind of things in my folder. This is an invitation from a golf track in Maidan in Dubai. My brother-in-law, he had registered as a guest because he was here, he was coming from overseas. And no sooner he got his confirmation for the time and the date and the time, he received a mail from the golf club. Tea time reservation summary. Dear Chris Sashitaran, congratulations, you're going on a golf date with the track. Just understand the language they have used here. This is communication. Or as you read this, we are preparing the course for your arrival. Greens are being pruned with those tiny scissors found only in handbags. Sand in the bunkers is being manually sieved into fine powder. Birds are practicing their tweeting scales and water is rehearsing, making the sound of trickling that you only thought existed in Disney movies. All you need to do is bring your A game and your clubs. Your clubs always help. Now, when you are given such an invite, you look forward to going and playing a round of golf. Now, I'm not talking about this just because it's a golf club. We can use something like this. We can get creative, even if in any of walks of your life in the kind of business that you're doing. It's because of how you're going to treat your customer with the attitude, communicate with him and tell him that, hey, you come to my domain and we are here. We're going to help you. We're going to see you through with your requirements. You can make a poetic description of how you would like to relate to him things. If there is a price increase, you can tell him beautifully. If there is a time delay, can be conveyed. It all depends how you convey the information to your customer. That's communication. And when you're communicating to him and the communication is proactive rather than reactive, it makes a world of a difference between how the customer perceives it. So communication plays a very, very key role in service excellence, in customer service, in customer satisfaction, or in keeping the customer at bay. Delighting customers is making sure he understands you, which is the statement is very simple. You are supposed to understand what the customer has come to you for. In this particular instance, there is an elderly gentleman who would like to buy a laptop or a computer just to send and receive emails. He does not want to know what is the technical or specifications of the laptop. It doesn't make sense to him. So what's the point if you're going to be giving all that information which doesn't make sense? In fact, he's going to shy away because he doesn't understand. He said, let me think about it and come back to you. And there you have lost a sale. Contrary, if he wants to only send and receive mails, you need to understand what kind of requirements he has, what's he going to do, what's the kind of speed he might ask for, and suggest things in a language that he understands. Technical knowledge makes you look good. Customer doesn't see you as somebody great. You need to keep that in mind. You can keep it technical language, jargons. You can keep it with the industry people, not with your customer, because he doesn't understand your jargons. That's one part of communication. Delighting customers is promptly replying to meetings and appointments. Now, there's somebody sending a meeting request. I can't make it at 2 p.m. If I don't reply, he will presume I have declined. And on the other side, the person who sent a meeting request is wondering, can he not at least reply to me? Have any of you come across situations like this? Can you please raise your hand or a thumbs up? Where the person on the other side is nonchalant to ignore or doesn't even come back to you. So very sad. That's communication you're looking at between people. It's not necessarily customers or a service provider. It could be customer or a colleague or just anybody. It's important to just get back and say, hey, I got your message. I have no answer for you. I'll come back to you probably 24 hours time, 24 days or 24 months, whatever it must be. Get back to him saying, acknowledge, I will revert. That's good enough. I can attend a meeting. I can't attend a meeting. I decline. Fine, do it. But communicate. So this plays a very key role when you are looking at somebody's expectation. It could be a customer expectation or otherwise. And how you satisfy the person. We've covered two of the pillars. Anybody has any questions, anything to add, anything to put on a chat box? Okay, I don't see anything on the chat box, nor do I hear anything. So I'm going to move ahead. And then we have the third pillar, which is, I think, prime in service excellence. And that is the time factor. Time is important. In fact, very, very important for each and everybody. I can understand we had to start on time, but we had some hiccups. But we understood what are the challenges and how we went about it. If it was the other way, whereby everybody has got into the meeting room and delighting customers, as said and did, have not even started the meeting, that would be a very reverse situation. And that is not something very pleasant. So you need to be there with an attitude to welcome people, to communicate and tell them that they're welcome here, to chat up, to see if there's a problem. What is a problem? How do we go about with the problem? And yes, we did have a delay. We apologize. We agree on that. But it was beyond probably a control. And we just pray that people would understand the kind of challenges that we face and how we went about to overcome the challenge and carry on the webinar. So time plays a very key role in service excellence or an experience. I'm putting this on a poll for you now. How many of you heard this little sentence called just a minute? Can I please see a thumbs up or your hand being raised? You can confirm with a yes or a no. Have you heard this just a minute?
Many times, many times.
You can click it 4 times, Tamer. With your permission, you can end the poll now. Just a minute is that communication, which we use it in a very loose form. We are talking about a time. Now, if we had to sit in silence for a minute, it would be a deafening 1 minute. I wouldn't do that, but I'm just saying. But a minute when you're doing something else goes off in a flash. So when you say just a minute, you should give meaning to your minute. If you think you're going to be in a position to come back or revert or reply to a person in 10 minutes, tell him, give me 10 minutes, not just a minute. A stage worse than this is, just give me a sec. It becomes a very easy statement that we don't give value to that particular statement in our communication. The value or the meaning of a time or a second or a minute. Try and get back to somebody, because you have to ensure the customer has total trust and faith in you. And how would he have a trust and faith in you when you tell him some things, when you communicate to him that we would deliver something to him on a particular time, and make sure you deliver it to him on the time or before the time and not after. So we need to give meaning to that just a minute, or give me 10 minutes, or give me a day, or give me a month, or give me a week, and hold on to that time and communicate appropriately to ensure that he has a good customer experience. A very simple 5 P's. Proper planning prevents poor performance. As we go deeper into this in a workshop mode, you will find that various things, how you can manage your time, and there's something called under promise and over deliver. Is anybody heard of this phrase, under promise and over deliver? Can I see a thumbs up or a show of hand? Let me tell you, I promise I will not leave you with a blank screen and going away to have a cup of coffee or walking in your WhatsApp. I want your attention with me if you can, please. Thank you, Stephen. So proper planning prevents poor performance. And if you move into a workshop mode or a training mode, we can understand what is the meaning of under promise and over deliver. Delighting customers is not keeping them on hold for too long. Now, if you can hear, just give me a thumbs up, any 1 or 2 people.
Please hold, your call is important to us. Please hold, your call is
Thanks,
important
Glenn.
to us. Please hold, your call is important 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 to us. Please hold. Thank you for saying that.
Can you imagine, you heard this for probably about 15-20 seconds. If you had to hear this for 1.5 minutes, what would be the reaction? Do you think the company considers your call important to them?
No.
That's the reason the gentleman here has already gone to sleep when birds were tweeting outside in the morning, and now the owls have come out at night. And he's been holding for a whole day. And I'm not joking. This is something which people don't understand, organizations don't understand, on how the telephone systems work. Please hold a call is important to us should have meaning. This doesn't give meaning. And I have this habit of taking recordings or seeing situations where it is making it educational for me, and I'll be able to share this knowledge with others. I don't give away the names of the organizations, though I know them, but I have 2 folders. One is called Fabulous in Service, which is great service, and the other is got Foibles in Service, which is poor service. And this is from one of them, and actually the book was compiled with experiences from daily walk of life, which you and I have seen together. So it's nothing, I'm not talking rocket science in the real sense of it. Please keep this in mind. A delay is not harmful as how the customer feels about the delay. If you communicate to him apologize to him. There is a delay. We understand, we accept, and tell him why the delay took place, where is the hiccups, and what are we doing towards sorting the delay for you. The customer would probably understand. But if you leave him on hold without telling him why there's a delay, and he has to call you and ask, I have been waiting for a long time, that makes your response reactive instead of proactive. We're all human. We're all going to have delays. But how you get across matters a lot, and how the customer feels about the delay. So it's important before the customer chases you that you inform the customer. And once again, under promise, over deliver is another mantra that we come and we hear that quite often when it comes to time. Delighting customers is keeping appointments and maintaining schedules. Now here is a salesman or whoever visiting the organization who says, I am only 15 minutes late. But according to him, it's only 15 minutes late. But according to the other person, he is 15 minutes late because he's been waiting for 15 minutes. So the same 15 minutes is relative, and the same delay is relative for each person. So we need to understand that give me a minute, or the value of time between two people are different, and then we need to match time and make sure that we are on time. We feel that we've always got our attitude, we've got our communication, and we've got our time. We think we've got our act together. No sooner a person joins an organization, in the first 6 months, he's all energetic and enthusiastic to work. As he keeps working and starts looking left and right and finds that there is grapevine, there is gossip, there's so many things happening, slowly his attitude, communication, his enthusiasm gets zapped, and then he's not as enthusiastic as he was on day one when he joined the organization, and he wanted to put his best foot forward and be the best person there. It changes over a period of time. So you think you have your act together with these 3 pillars in service excellence? The answer is no, because the fourth most important and key pillar in service excellence that gives a lot of foundation to the others is the processes that you have, the policies that an organization has. See, remember, attitude, communication, and time is something that stems for an individual. But process policies is something that comes from the organization, from your employer, and how he sees the entire place. What is the processes customer focused? Are they in a position to engage their employees and motivate their employees to work and take the whole thing forward? Matters a lot in how they are going to make sure that the people working with them are well charged throughout the day, throughout the months that they work with them, and take the whole thing ahead. So you could have a heart to work well, but you require the head, and the head normally works with the things like processes and policies of how the organization sees. Do they see it outside in, or do they see it inside out? Now, what would I mean by that? Seeing inside out is, this is what I can offer you. And customers may not want, all customers may or may not want. As against seeing outside in, this is what a customer wants and how I can offer it to him. One of the mantras in service is, I am not in the confectionery industry. I'm in the industry of serving customers, but happen to be making chocolates. I am not in the furnishing industry. I am in the servicing industry, but happen to be making furniture for the customers. We need to see how we can shift the entire focus of our business from a customer's viewpoint and rework them to make sure that it is matching the customer's requirement and in the bargain satisfying him. Process plays a very, very, very important role. Another example, 2 years back, we asked for a washing machine, and the gentleman came from one of the European companies. No sooner they came, they gave us the delivery note, and both of them wore these shoe covers. They just wore the shoe covers and confidently walked inside the house. We didn't have the embarrassment of telling them to remove their shoes because they were not messing the house. 2 of them came. I was tempted. I took a photograph of one of them. Both of them walked in, did all the installation, everything, took our signature on the delivery note and went. They had a process in place. They have understood that a customer might not have a reservation of somebody walking with shoes in. You remove your shoes. Maybe you've not washed your socks for months. I'm just saying, it's possible. Why have that embarrassment? So either ways, let's play it safe. Let's make it a win-win situation. You wear your socks, you wear your shoes, and you wear your cover and enter the customer's house. Finish your work and you get out. You don't mess their place. And they don't have to tell you, or they don't have to go and sweep after you left the place. A simple process which adds a lot of value to a customer experience. Role of process and policies is basically it helps departments to identify their customers, what we would understand as internal customers. Now, how many of you may have heard of internal customers? May I please see a reaction, please? Some of you have heard. That's wonderful. Thank you. Many, as a matter of fact. Ensure they develop a customer-focused approach. Ensure there is no weak link in the chain in their service deliveries. For example, one of the very important processes one needs to keep in mind is complaint handling. Do you welcome complaints as gifts? Do you see them as a boon or a bane? Is the way you see or the company sees its customers and those approaching with a complaint. So do you see the complaint coming gift wrapped or unwrapped? Or I think Malvika just mentioned in her, this about being sent from one person to another. And this is very similar. Not tossing a complaining customer all over the office. Not necessarily a complaining customer, somebody who doesn't know, telling him, I don't know, go to so-and-so aisle or so-and-so counter and he can help you. If you're going to go to 4 different people, it doesn't lead to a great customer experience. And if you have a point of contact, it leads to a fabulous customer experience because he knows he's contacting one person and getting things sorted out for him, rather than going from pillar to post or from person to person or from Tom, Dick to Harry. We shall go back and address what we asked earlier. As a customer walking into a store, I get upset when? Tamil, what were you saying earlier that you get upset when?
When no one recognizes my entrance and no one greeting me in a proper way.
Where might these come into? It might come into the pillar of attitude or communication.
No, first attitude.
First attitude, I totally agree with you. It might also come with communication. And let's say there's a 2 minutes delay, in the sense you entered a shop and you're waiting and you're looking around and there's nobody there. And then a person comes and greets you. It can also come into a time factor.
So it can be under time as well.
But more importantly, is the company having a process or a policy ever to greet a customer or to acknowledge a customer?
Yes.
It can fall into any of these pillars, but as you rightly said, it comes with the attitude, which comes from within you, which comes in your heart. There could be no process, there could be no policy. That doesn't necessarily mean you cannot greet a customer.
Yes.
Who else had mentioned? I think Stephen had mentioned something. Yeah, Stephen, you need to go off mute. Yes, go ahead. We can't hear you, Stephen. Can anybody else hear? No, we can't hear you.
You can unmute the mic by yourself.
He's done it.
Oh, he has done it.
Yes, he's
Steven,
done it. See, it's not on.
okay, let me try.
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
my
Yes, it's fine.
background. Sorry for the background. Yeah, actually, I experienced this kind of customer upset because if you are going to a store or a mall, you ask for something and they will tell you something
Yeah.
else. Yeah, that's
You-
a little bit.
You mentioned about product knowledge, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right?
Yes, that's the one. Yeah,
Right.
there are. I don't know if there's a salesman or in malls. Usually, some of them maybe they are new or they're just lazy. They just don't want to exert effort.
Well,
So that's the
I
thing.
might just want to pause you there. If they are new, it's the organization that should take care of it. That comes with the processes and policies. If they are lazy, it comes with their own attitude.
Attitude, yeah.
They don't want to learn more, or they don't want
Correct.
to help. So if
Yes.
you look at product knowledge, it could come under any of these as the way you mentioned it from your own experience.
Yeah.
Yes, Glenn. Thank you, Stephen.
Okay.
I don't know which one this falls under. At times when you walk into a store, you're just completely ignored. I mean, you're the only one in the store. The customer rep is across the store. He's the only one in the store, and they kind of see through you. I don't know which one this comes under, but I do get upset when you're completely, given the cold shoulder or just ignored completely. Probably they're sizing you down that you are not their customer or the typical type of customer. Has that ever happened?
It's happened so many times. As a matter of fact, I have this dirty habit of going into high-end stores and asking them things, and sometimes I want to see their reaction. That's all I want to do.
Right.
They know very well I'm not going to buy it.
I'm not the only one in the room.
I'm not going to buy it, but I want to see how they react.
Okay.
Well, I might surprise you. I might just buy it. Right?
Exactly. That's
so you're saying that you enter a store and there's a salesman on the other end, but he either sees you or he pretends not to see you.
Exactly. There's leave alone acknowledging. He doesn't even bother to look towards my way.
I might can anybody has any suggestion to what Glenn just said?
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
I think a lot of the service staff, we find that they're quite judgmental. As soon as somebody walks in, they already make up the mind that, okay, this is so and so, and he may or may not buy, but is not going to buy. Why should I waste my time? Many have that attitude.
Okay, this might stem from two areas, in my opinion. One is certainly attitude, but where does this attitude come in a place like that, where I don't have to be inviting this guy because I doubt he's even going to have the money to afford to buy this kind of stuff. It might also. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. I think we could look at two areas. One is probably the culture, the kind of culture that they practice within the company. Are they really serious about customer service, or they're purely focused on driving this, not making people happy?
And the culture comes from the process, policy, and the organizational way of doing things.
Very true. Very true. Absolutely.
So it comes more to do with process, and it comes more to do with the attitude of a person.
Very true.
Thank you.
If you don't mind, yeah.
Yes.
If you don't mind, I would like to share a small feedback. Most of the sales teams, they have a very fast evaluation for each customer who entered the shop, especially for the high-end items. So in a few seconds, he take the decision if this client, he will buy or he will not buy. And according to that, he give him the attention. For example, if he find him a local citizen, Emirates or Qatari or whatever, he will pay for him more attention, more than Indian or Egyptian or Arab. And there is a very famous story about the Maharaja who buy Rolls Royce when he entered the shop, and the guy didn't give him any attention, and he think that he is a very poor Indian. And later on, he buy the whole factory, and the Rolls Royce used to collect the garbage. And that's true, yeah. Yes.
No, that's very, very true. In fact, this is where the organization, especially dealing in high-end products, I am talking about the Rolexes, the designer brands, or some people who are high up there should be better judge of people, that those coming should be treated in equal in a manner. See, until you have gone and asked him, how may I help you? And he starts talking, the customer starts putting his requirements, you will understand if this person, where is he coming from and how serious is he about buying something, or is he coming to inquire? And it's perfectly okay if a person comes to ask for an expensive watch or an expensive car, because I have no intention of buying, but I am curious how this thing works, or why is this something more expensive? So are you going to judge me based on my purchasing capacity or my curiosity and the inquisity? And are you going to take and serve me based on that? Because a person who shows an inquisity and a curiosity today would have a capacity to buy it tomorrow. But if he finds the experience bad, he said, I will never buy this product because of that one man. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're 100% right.
So you need to understand today, the people coming with the dirtiest of clothes and the torn jeans are the ones who have lots of money in their pocket. So how do you see that? Because the dirtier you are, the more higher up you're supposed to be. Irony of life. So you can't be judging that way. So this, again, if you take this as an argument, it comes more with the process policies, where you have to drive certain do's and don'ts to your frontline team and tell them how they ought to behave to a person walking into the store, irrespective of whether he has the capacity or not to buy, which you cannot determine as he is getting into the store. You can certainly determine when you start talking to him, how can I help you? What are you come looking for? And can I do something for you? And if he says, I've come to look for something, and he starts talking and he shows knowledge, and if you think he's going to put his hand in his pocket, you can show him more. But if you think he's come to ask more out of a curiosity, you can definitely quench his curiosity. End of the day, he's going to go back with a good experience. And that's why you need to love people. And that's why you need to be sure that, because today's customer, a window shopping customer, can become your actual customer tomorrow. Or the other way, depends how you treat him. Well, I think that was interesting. Can we move ahead? So CX initiatives or customer experience initiatives needs to be aligned and in sync with where each and every person is an ambassador and they speak the same language, have a same culture when they're working in a place, which stems from process, policies, attitude, communication, and time put together. In short, if you have a good process in place, you meet customer expectations with a positive attitude, you pleasantly surprise the customer. With effective communication, you keep customers well informed and on top. And if you perform on time, you satisfy your customers. And if your pact is in place, the customer will keep your business going. And sorry, I just jumped. Yes. And if your pact is in place, you keep your side of the pact, the customer will keep his side, because pact is also an agreement between a service provider and a customer. You take care of me, and then and only then I will take care of you to take care of your business. And if you look at word of mouth advertising, the customer is more powerful than all the advertising strategies or budgets that you ever have in taking your business ahead. And this is even more evident today with the social media, where you need to be extremely careful of what the customer speaks and how he speaks about you. Do we have any thoughts, anything that you want to share before we move to the next section of this webinar?
I would just like to add one small additional point here.
Certainly.
Would you like to ask everyone what is the multiple of the social media now? 1:, how many? Earlier it was 1:8, that every unhappy customer goes and tells 8 people. But because of the social media, what is the multiple now?
We could ask that. Any numbers cropping up for Glenn's question? One person can harm or inform 8 customers, 100 customers, 1,000 customers, or more. Am I right, Glenn? That's your question?
Yeah, earlier it was 1:8, that every unhappy customer, one unhappy customer goes and tells 8, and those 8 go and tell a further 8, which is 64, and then multiples of 8.
Yeah, and that keeps going.
Yes.
But in all honesty, even without social media, if I was unhappy with an establishment, without social media, I could have gone and told 10 people. Because that's the way I feel. It's a religion for me.
Right. The number is 48 that we're looking at.
Yes.
The multiples of. So one goes and tells 48 because of his social media account on an average. So that kind of multiplies every 48 times.
And that is rapidly changing. Once again, it depends what social media you're looking at. If you're looking at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, depends where you are.
Right.
Because that again changes because the visibility and the reach are different between all these different kind of channels.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right, we're moving on from there to something that we have had today and one of the core areas of discussion. The reason I discussed PACT is because you'll realize that this is going to come into play at every aspect of customer service and service delivery and customer experience. Today, I want to ask you, and I want to put this as a poll, in 2020, has customer expectations changed? Yes or no? I think we can just raise a poll for this. Thank you, Stephen. Yeah, we have it there in the form of a poll. You can confirm yes or no. We would like all of you to participate, please. I'm happy to see that seven of them feel yes and one of them feels no. If I might take the liberty to ask the person who says customer expectations has not changed, or would you like to share something? Okay, I might also feel that customer expectations has not changed. But for those who felt that customer expectation has changed, may I ask how it has changed? Any of those who said yes, what do you think? How it has changed?
Because year over year, the customer awareness is getting more upgraded.
Okay.
He know more knowledge about what competitors offer for him. He believes that the power of money can give him better service or better quality. So his expectations is getting increased every single visit. We are working in a food and beverage restaurant. He would like to expect the next visit, it will be much upgrading on service satisfaction more than this current visit.
Okay. But Tamil, if we just look at the question in the 2020 with the COVID virus, do you think customer expectations has changed?
Yeah. The awareness about take care about the hygiene, take care about the critical control points on the HACCP system in the restaurants, the cleanliness in the stores, how they are, even the home delivery team, they take care about cross-contamination. All of this one had been increased in 2020 with the COVID-20.
But if I have to, let us say, go to an establishment, it might be to just buy grocery, or it could be to buy any other product. Has your expectation changed in that area? Not the hygiene factor, not because of this, because we all locked down. We're all working with e-commerce kind of a situation. We're all going around with, so if a person is wearing a mask today and you're going to a grocery, he may not be able to smile at you. Has your expectation gone up, gone down, or has it remained static? Do you expect this man should smile? Do you expect this man to shake hands with you? You would not expect that, right?
Yeah, I will not expect that, but I will expect it on another area.
Such as?
Such as the cleanliness in the workplace, how his team member, they are very care about the safety of the material, safety for themselves, safety of the food item they present, or the food that they give it to me.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from. Yeah, Glenn, go ahead.
Yeah, I was actually on the similar line now, because I feel now the customer expectations have completely changed to kind of safeguard their safety. That when I walk into a grocery, I want to know whether the cashier is kind of wearing his mask. Are they kind of emphasizing on taking temperatures, doing the social distancing, which was not there before? Are they sanitizing things? Those parts. So yes, customer expectations have changed.
So you mean to say that you will have a keener eye towards the details of safety and hygiene?
Yes, because it's to my personal safety as a customer.
Fabulous.
When I'm visiting.
But that does not necessarily mean towards the normal customer service trends, patterns, ways of behavior, and service deliveries that was existing in 2019 and beyond.
A little bit, I would say, but not much from that angle.
Okay, because it's possible that he's absolutely spick and span place, is hygienic, he's got everything working, everything in systems in place, but he doesn't smile, or he's just absolutely businesslike all of a sudden today, which was not the case yesterday. But you're still happy. Right. The fact that your expectation has changed now to the hygiene factor, rather than whether he's giving me a smile, is he giving me attention, is he being indifferent to me, or does he have product knowledge? Right?
Correct, because my priorities have changed. I would not want him to kind of keep me longer at the counter with others behind me. I would want to take my stuff and run out as quickly as possible.
As soon as you can.
Yes.
Thank you. Anybody else has anything to suggest? Add. You can either voice it or you can chat it. Verbal greetings, Zakaria. Do you want to share something on that, or shall we proceed?
Yeah, in the sense, it's not necessary that you have to have a facial expression at some point in time, keeping in mind that everyone's wearing a mask. You can't actually see what they are, how they feel. But even if you have a smile, you have a small little grin or something or the other, your mask does move. So you definitely know that someone is smiling or something like that. But,
either way, I agree with you quite a bit. Yes.
Yeah. So hypothetically, you wouldn't bother so much, but it does make a small difference.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Good evening or something like that. So
yeah,
things like
since
that.
we are all coming in from one region or the Middle East, the culture is very similar. Expectations don't change much either. It so happened the other day, I had gone to this hypermarket. Let's not take names. And there were about 4 cashiers sitting there, and all of them had their mask on. There was barely anybody in the hypermarket. So obviously the cash counters were empty. There was nobody there. And as I was approaching the cashiers, I was wondering which one should I go to. And I noticed this lady behind her mask, her eyes smiled. And I obviously knew she smiled. Her eyes smiled. And that attracted me to go towards that particular cashier and check out from there. So yes, hygiene factor is very important at this point in time, but the customer service factor still remains that, at the back of your heart and your subconscious mind, you still have the service aspect also lying somewhere in the deep inners. You're right about that. Having said that, either ways, expectations has changed, expectations has not changed. As a service provider, do you think service delivery standards should change? I would again like to put this as a poll. Yes or no? Do you think service delivery standards should change? Yes or no? What do you feel? What's your thought on that? This is not a trick question. We are here to exchange thoughts. We're here to learn. So please don't hesitate to answer. I only got 3 answers. I'm sure there are others who are feeling something and who would like to say, so please do. Do you think customer expectations should change? I mean, service deliveries, I'm sorry. Service deliveries should change, or service deliveries need not change. It can remain static. Remember, it's not necessarily face-to-face. Very soon we're going to be working from home. We're moving into that phase of our webinar. We're going to be moving somewhere where we cannot see the person. We are not talking always of a grocery. We're now going to go into work from home scenarios and what you're going to expect beyond 2020. Fair enough. 4 of you feel that service delivery standards should change, and a few who feel that service delivery standards should not change. Well, I would leave the opinions there, and I want to thank you for the poll. You may end the poll, or shall I? Okay, great, thank you. If customer expectations has changed, don't you think service delivery standards also should correspondingly change? I might say, yes, we should change according to the present challenges, time, and what the customer seeks from us. Earlier, we did not give so much of emphasis to hygiene like last year, but now we do that. We prioritize, and our prioritizations differ. But we should also be blending to how we're going to be handling this customer now. And that doesn't necessarily mean when you're in a face-to-face situation, but also when you are going to be start working from home. Now, how many of you have started working in offices, or how many of you are still working from home? Can I just see a quick thumbs up of how many of you from home, or how is it working? Glenn, from home?
Yes.
Okay. So I presume all the thumbs up are working from home. Great. How can we manage teams during this pandemic? This is a time when everybody, like it or not, have been distanced. This is a time when what could have happened, I could have happily come to Qatar and enjoyed the hospitality of Qatar and done a webinar or a workshop there, that I'm forced to sit here and do it from my home in Dubai. I don't have a choice. We're moving into a conference, web conference kind of a situation. Everybody has got distanced. We have no choice but to distance. This has been dictated on every human being on this earth today. If you've read today's paper, I think it said that 2 months has come like a tsunami to flatten the economy of the US. It has come in today's Gulf newspaper. I don't know whether somebody of you read it. Okay, so initially from home, now office. That's the reason I started with this. 2015, I started working from home. So Corona has not brought much of a change for me, and I've got into a preparedness state. We're working from home with social distancing. Yeah, I agree. You need to keep in mind that you may run the business, but they run your show. Now, who is they? We are addressing, from what I have understood, and the purpose of this webinar is for customer service managers, team leaders, on how they're going to be handling their teams as we move ahead. And right now, we are still in the midst of working from home and trying to get things organized. So you may run the business, but they run your show. Now, who is your they? Glenn, you had something?
Your employees.
Absolutely. Your team members, your employees.
Yes.
This is one thing we need to keep in mind always. We are finding that there is a whole lot of retrenchments happening. Salary reductions, salary cuts mercilessly, forced to go on leave. Now, is this going to help your business, or is it not going to help your business? This is something that you require to very seriously think upon and before you move into the next stage of your work environment and how it's going to be in future. Some questions that normally come in any leader's mind: how do I keep the morale and productivity high amongst my employees? I cannot see each other. We cannot see each other. I'm sorry. What can we do to communicate differently if we can't be face to face? How do I emotionally support my team and allay their fears about economic uncertainty? In short, how to ensure the show goes on. Is there any other questions running in your mind right now? Because this is very generic, which I had, and I thought this might be running in everybody's mind. Is there any other questions that you might have that's running in your mind at present when you're working from home? I presume there is not. Possible solutions for any leader would be, I'm just giving you a few here. Please put your thinking hats on and see if there's other ways we can do things. Now more than ever, your team needs you to set up and provide much needed structure, direction, and support. You as team leaders, you as customer service managers, you as department heads, now is the time that your team is looking upon you and saying, how am I going to do things? I need some direction. I need some help. You need to see if you can change your mindset and then help the others to change their mindset. At this point, I felt it was very simple. And in fact, we even mentioned that in the summary or as a curtain raiser for this webinar. When I started in 2015, I saw my dining table as my desk. I saw my kitchen as my pantry. And I didn't have to drive anywhere, so that was a big advantage. I didn't have to be always wearing office clothes, so that's a big advantage. So I found that there's not much of a difference. In fact, I had more to gain than to lose. But the big difference that came about was, it was my choice. COVID did not force me to it. I chose. Here, the situation has changed in 2020. But does it necessarily mean your mindset should change? Nothing much has changed except the fact that you don't have your office colleagues next to you, but you have your family with you. That's the only difference. Otherwise, you're still having a working environment. You're still having a monitor. You're still having your work. You're having your low workload. You're having your targets to meet. How has it changed? So if you can get that mindset clear, you will be in a position to support, help, and encourage and hold the props up for your team members. Transparency is the key to get support. How transparent you are when you're working with your team members. This is where we are. This is where we're going to be heading. This is what we are doing. This is what our plans are. More importantly, reassure them of their job and the organization's vision over the next 6 months. One of the key factors, if you have to get support from your team, key factors to get your support from your team. The other day, I was at a friend's place and he told me his organization has very clearly and transparently told them that everybody's job is safe and secure until December 2020, and they had nothing to worry. Just the fact of saying that your job is safe and secure and there's nothing to worry itself gives you that impetus to do better and to work towards making sure that the organization is up and going beyond 2020. It is a booster, an energy that comes from somewhere within, because I know today I can look at my screen and perform my daily tasks and projects and deadlines rather than go to LinkedIn and look for a job. Half the world is not working, even though they're working from home. They're going in to look for another job in LinkedIn because they are insecure. Primarily, can you give them the security? We need you, don't worry. Which is one of the key things in any human being's mind. My job, my money, my family. if we can give them that security, you get 100% engagement from your employees and to get things going, and you can ask for help, seek help, and get help. Think about just what I said. Show them the reason to be successful and make the company a success. If we work as a team and move this together, we're going to achieve a lot. And in a few slides ahead, I'm going to be showing you why it's going to be so. What's in it for the various players in this game of challenging the COVID? Does anybody have any thoughts you would like to share here? This is a discussion. This is not a one-way webinar. All right. If you want your teams to be engaged in their work, you have to make their work engaging. Can I see a thumbs up? How many of you believe in what I just said here? If you want your teams to be engaged, you have to make their work engaging. If you have thought so, there is something running in your mind. May I please request each of you to come and tell me, how do you think you can make it engaging? Think of a crazy idea. Any crazy idea works. That's my personal belief. I'm sorry?
Can I share something?
Yes, please.
Yeah. See, in a recent webinar we conducted that was about working from home, the psychological and physical impacts. Some of the companies that participated, they shared some ideas by which once a week, they get not just the employees, but also they get the families together. They have some sessions and they have a separate session for kids, and they've hired kind of a magician, some musicians. Okay, they play music and they get the kids to be involved, and all the housewives, they've got some program. They've come.
Your voice is going away.
Oh, sorry. Is it better now?
It is better now. It is better now.
Okay. All right. So what they've done is they've listened to some of the experts where they've clearly pointed out that employees are getting psychologically more affected simply because they're working from home. They are feeling very lonely. So some of the companies come up as where they constantly engage with the employees, talk to them. Okay, did you exercise today? Okay. I know you're working for long hours from home. Take care of yourself. Okay, exactly at this time, no more emails. You wind up, stop your work. They've come up with various ideas like that, which makes the employees feel very important, cared for.
True. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Stephen, you had a thumbs up. Let's hear from you.
I would like to give you a small example about how to make them engage with you.
Certainly, yes, go ahead.
We create like a small brief report about each task had been achieved by end of the day. Like that, you keep building the connections and make it strong day by day. It's like a briefing, early morning briefing, and at the end of the day, just general recap about what we achieve, what will be our agenda tomorrow. So the stuff keep aligned with the target of the company and the vision of the company. And in every day, there is a build the connections between communication between the team members themselves.
Absolutely, you're right about that. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Malvika, do you have anything to add? Stephen, Zakaria. All right. It's important to keep your employees engaged. And here we already had a few ways of doing it. Now, I had thought of some of the ways which can be done. One of them is swap audio for video. Earlier, when you were in an office environment, you would call the extension and speak to your colleague. Try and make it into a face-to-face meeting. Good to meet teammates, even if it's virtually, but have a facial expression. You know there's somebody else on the other side. Communicate effectively. Compensate the lack of visual connection. Now, this is what we talk often when we are talking about telephone manners. When we do training on telephone manners, the person who's handling a telephone call, the call center agent, needs to be more expressive when he's talking to his customer on the other end, because his body language has to compensate through his voice, tone, and words. So there are times when you as a team leader would have to be more emphatic and have to speak more effectively to compensate for lack of visual connection with your team members, employees, or somebody who's feeling it's a little bit of a challenge, who's a little bit disturbed working from home. Another good way of doing it, any project, small or big, irrespective, have two people working on it. So what happens is you're not sitting alone and doing the project. You are in a position to interact with another person on the other side, trying to share work as a team together, and put up a result. That interaction, though it is not face-to-face, is going to add to engagement with each other and is going to help each other to move ahead. It's going to get them away from a sense of loneliness or an isolation. More importantly, that's happening today, like we had earlier before the webinar, is all our connectivity challenges. Many times people are good with numbers, but they are very poor with systems and equipment. I am one of them, let me be honest, let me confess. So when I am not a tech savvy and you're suddenly told all of a sudden, March 22nd, tomorrow onwards, we start working from home. We don't know how long this is going to go on. That person is totally going to be having a sleepless night. Oh my God, how am I going to do this? Oh my God, how am I going to do that? There are lots of people who are nervous. There are lots of people who are not. How are you going to handle those different kind of team members and make sure they're all on the same platform? Some need less help, some need more help. Some need prodding, some need counseling. How are we going to take care of them? How are we going to coordinate IT requirements and make sure connectivity is there? They are connected. They understand how to connect. Create a process of this is how you connect on Zoom. This is how you connect on GoToMeetings. This is how you connect on any of the other meeting conference platforms, and share it. You need to move very fast and get proactive, or help them with time management. Working from home has a huge disadvantage. You tend to take it easy. I have done it since the time I started working from home. But then how do you compensate for the lost time? It's not that you've gone into your office, you signed a master, or you put that thumb impression, and no, you can't do that kind of a situation. You're not marked for late or anything like that. Then how do you manage your own time? Project KPIs, everything is there. But there should be some other mechanisms to hold online meetings, as Tamil was just suggesting, and we shall move probably in the next slide, of how we can possibly maintain and tell people time management is important. How are you going to manage your time? It's your time today, 24 hours, you're at home. Fine, how are you going to do it, man? Schedule regular meetings. That's one of the things which Tamil just mentioned. Like Sunday, you have a weekly planner. What are we going to do? Sunday morning, 9 o'clock. Monday to Wednesday, what did I accomplish yesterday? What will I do today? Obstacles, if any, are impending for my progress. What happens on Thursday is a weekly review. Now, this needs to be probably 10 minutes, half an hour, depending on your team and the kind of volume of business or the kind of challenges that you have. There are people who may require short one-to-one sessions. You need to know what is working well for them. Where are the places where they're facing a challenge, where they need some more support from you, or what do you need from me to be more successful? How can I help you? It's now the duty of the manager, the team leaders to ask, how can I help you? Because when you help them, they will help you. It's simple. The scenario is not taken for granted anymore when we are face to face in an office environment. Nobody's looking over your shoulder, but we need to see how we can help each other in work today, because on a daily basis, I could have asked you, what are you doing? But here, when it's offline, I don't know whether you are sleeping, you're watching a movie, or you're actually doing something. So how can we monitor that? Some people don't require prodding. Some of them do. Some of them are still wondering, what am I doing? How can I do the same things? Looking at an Excel sheet in office gives them a different confidence as looking at the same Excel sheet at home. So they're very shy, they're very scared, they're very nervous of how to handle things. Can you talk to them and get them out of that and give them the encouragement that they're working fine, they're doing a great job? What can I do more for you and help you? So team meetings helps. Once in a way, not every day. You cannot go into micromanaging there. Case to case, employee to employee, subordinate to subordinate, you may have to go into one-on-one sessions. You need to keep their morale up. You need to keep them pepped up, saying they are doing well. They're doing well. You're going fine. Don't worry. I'll do something more for you if you need my help. Some of the ways I thought you could do motivation, how you can motivate your people. It's important that we don't give instructions, but we give inspiration. You need to inspire them that they're doing a great job. This is something nobody expected, but everybody is doing. And if I can pat your back, you would probably expect a pat back, as they say, what goes round comes around. Encourage suggestions in your meetings that you have. Because as you empathize with them, they get more enthusiastic that they're able to voice themselves or be more constructive for a time like this when they are having so many challenges, that they're being listened to, and some of the challenges could really be good. Trust and empowerment increases productivity. And this plays a huge role in these times when you can't see a person, but you have to believe that they're doing a good job. You have to have projects, you have to have schedules, you have to have completion deadlines and see how it's going. But again, you need to give them certain powers to handle rather than them coming and checking with you every day. He can't walk to your desk and ask you, or he can't be calling you, or he can't be going into a Zoom talk every 15 minutes. What he could have otherwise walked to your table and asked you, could I do this or could I do it this way? So a certain amount of empowerment would play a huge role in this. Hey, I trust you can do something. Come on, go ahead and do it. Don't worry, we will sort out. When I used to work for Air Canada, there was something which we always thought, and I felt very strongly about. In fact, all my customer service came from Air Canada. And that was basically, you act and then you react. So long as the customer needs to go out satisfied, that's important. And then we will see what you did was right, what you did was wrong. Could it have been better? Let's not repeat it. And the tagline of Air Canada, which I loved, was that if the customer is happy, you're doing your job right. That's totally in a different dimension we're looking at. It's totally customer service. And here we're looking at how we're going to manage in a COVID situation. But it is always a question of go ahead if you think that was the right thing to do. Not that you're going to sell that aircraft to the customer. You're not going to do that. Or you're not going to give him a free business class seat. No. But how can you help him? Take certain responsibility and go ahead. Yes, it might not have been the most wise one. We will see how to correct it and not repeat it. Make sure he does not have to take work home. This is a very funny statement. You're sitting at home but not taking work home. Basically, it's work-life balance. If somebody made a mention to working only until 6 o'clock and not beyond or something, I can't remember who. Somebody made a mention just about an hour ago. If you're working until 6 o'clock, you need to make sure the person is working until 6 o'clock. And after that, he has his family time. I think, again, Tamir made a mention that our attitude is when you can define between working at home and working in the office. This is in the beginning on one of the pillars of service excellence. But the same can apply here. Now, if I'm going to be disturbed while delivering this webinar, it's going to be very different. So working time is this time, and then
Hello.
put your work away and get into something else. Yeah, sorry, somebody's saying something? I heard somebody saying something. Wanting to share?
I think that was a mistake.
Okay, no worries. Okay. No worries. So working from home, sorry, he doesn't take work home. You've always been telling your wife, oh, you know how much of work I have, my boss is this, my boss is that. And actually she's seeing that when she's overhearing some conversation happening with the boss or with the teammate. And then he is working till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So she believes then the sky must be a pain. We need to see what kind of a work-life balance can you give. And the more stress-free you are, the more productive you will be. This has been proved. Many people work under stress, but most people work better in a stress-free situation. So can you reduce the stress and give the comfort for the person to work with things like trust, work like empowerment, give him more encouragement, ask for his suggestions, listen to him, support him, help him, celebrate achievements. And when I mean celebrate achievements, every little small thing like meeting a deadline, a successful completion of a project, a big sale, or just working from home. Just working from home itself is an achievement today. How many people can work from home? Today is day 60 probably for some. For me, it's day 60, and it's much more when I take 2015 into account. But day 60, I'm working from home, and I can have a smile on my face is an achievement for me. Can you clap for that kind of stuff? This is small achievements. There are so many people who are having challenges today. I know somebody who has just gone to Delhi. She's quarantined in a hotel room. Staying in the room for 14 days is an achievement. It's not working from home. It's a celebration of an achievement after a period of time. So we've all been faced with this. It's a question of how do we celebrate these small achievements. You've got a great sale online. That's a super achievement. Or you've got a big contract. That's fantastic. But look at these small achievements and try to share it with your family. That's your work family. Let the employee feel happy. And when he shuts his computer, he should be beaming in front of his wife and children. Hey, I had a fabulous day today and I look forward to working tomorrow from home. Most importantly, you need to thank your team for their support. Is there any additions to what I have just mentioned here? Because this is just a few, and there are plenty more thoughts that can come in from y'all.
I have one point. It's depend on one friend experience already in the quarantine 14 days. He mixed between work and develop his skills.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
To enjoy his time for 9 hours or 10 hours work, plus another 8 hours in the same room, he developed his skills. He learned a new language. He developed his paint classes. He plays some music on some applications. Yeah, he tell me to enjoy the time in quarantine, you have to have a lot of things to make it. Work, mix with the skills, mix with develop some hobbies you have, something like that. It will make the time enjoying in the home. You will not feel that it's boring in the home.
You're absolutely right, Tamer. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, my next screen is talking about that.
Oh, good.
Encourage staff to learn new skills, things they always wanted to do. If you are a business owner, I would definitely say so and advise you and request you. If you are a team leader, I would still urge you as a supervisor or a manager, tell your staff, what more can you do? Come on, you're having free time now. Let's see what more you can learn. You're not driving for 3 hours up and down to office and back. Do something for yourself. For example, I'm going to be doing this. What are you doing? Let's exchange some thoughts on what we're going to be learning, something new other than work. Work is always there. Keep work aside. Let's learn something new. Come on. That's the way you keep the energy flowing. Just now what Tamer said is there right on top as on the screen. Things they always wanted to do. Create a page where spouse and children can connect. Now, if employees are into a conference mode with their team members, can you not make a group of ABC company employee spouse, ABC company employees children, and become a member, join, say hello, hi, and connect? You would be surprised. The first people to connect and gel will be your children because they do not have inhibitions. They will be the first ones to make good friends, and then of course your spouse. And when they are ventilated, you are having ventilation to work. You are having more peace to work, which is equally important in a work environment. And now that is a bizarre idea? No, it's a workable idea. But then you need to put your step forward and go the extra mile to do that. Encourage posts on employee experience of working from home. Hey, today you tell me what was your experience. Tomorrow you tell me what was your experience. Let's just share experiences. Crazy thoughts, just 2 lines, a paragraph, whatever you feel is okay. Let's share your experience. How did you go? How was your day? And you start with sharing your experience. Get the people to write about their experience, those who are more comfortable to come out with. Then tap on the people who are a bit more shy in talking. You will start converting a person from a person who's inside his house and who feels a little stressed out to start ventilating himself. It'll help a lot. Be observant, show curiosity, and connect emotionally. As you are having a chat with your employee, let's say his wife comes by, or son or daughter comes by, or he's got a lovely picture behind him. You can always talk about it. You can always break ice in a different nature. You don't have to be talking work, 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 and only work. Oh, that's a lovely picture I see behind. You've got a beautiful wall there. What is it? So nice, beautiful, I like it. Let him chill out a little. Let him talk to you. Let him open out. Show some appreciation. Connect emotionally, not necessarily from a work front. So what did I put here? Check with employees on their health, about their family, how they're coping working from home, and is there anything more you could do to help to perform better? I personally feel that this is the time to invest. When I have been talking to people, the financial markets have been so bad. And this is not the time to run away, they say, but to be calm and to invest on your people and whatever else you can invest on. Because when it's low, what is the saying? As the saying goes, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. You have to be that way. This is something which I want to share. These are some of the clips that came in the last week to 10 days. Now, here is employee happiness leads to customer happiness. How you can think out of the box and come with the most bizarre ideas, which is what we were just discussing in the previous screen. Bizarre ideas always work. The most craziest ideas you think are always will work. I'm sure the recording of this is going to be shared with everybody. You can read this at leisure. But if some of you might know this gentleman in the center in the circle. His name is Mohanlal. He's a very famous actor from south of India, from Kerala. And he's very well known and adored by many people, more so the South Indian and the Kerala population. As it would be right, most of the nurses in many parts of the world are from Kerala, for whatever reasons. This hospital, Burjeel Hospital in Abu Dhabi, spoke to him, and he gave a personal call on the mobile phones of various nurses, telling them that I'm Mohanlal, I'm calling from Kerala, I want to talk to you, I want to ask you how are things with you. You are in the front line, you're handling your patients with corona. It must be extremely stressful. You're away from your family, your friends, your home, your children. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're keeping in good health. Now, when somebody like that is going to call you and a celebrity, you're going to be like on top of the world, which is what is some of the feedback some of the nurses gave. In fact, one of them did not answer the call because she was with some other work in the hospital. Just a simple way, but you need to get creative in ensuring how you can make a buzz during this time. Okay, panda dolls cheer in a Thai restaurant helps in social distancing. This is an article that came on the 14th of May. And below, I'll just read this very quickly. Customers of the Maison Sigon restaurant sit next to stuffed panda dolls the restaurant uses as space keepers for each social distancing to help curb the spread of the coronavirus in Bangkok, Thailand. This was reported on the 5th of May, 2020. That was like, today is what, 17th? Yeah, so 12 days ago. It's a very creative way where they have a panda doll sitting on every table and you're sitting along with them and having a meal. And down when you read the article, it also says that lots of people who come alone to have a meal, they don't have to feel so lonely and lonesome because they find there's somebody sitting across them, though it's only a doll. They found the gesture to be very nice, very warm. This is just around the corner. Experience at Al Masood Automobiles. Customers can now select vehicles from the comfort of their homes. You can actually get a virtual car experience and maybe decide whether you want to buy or not, or even decide when you might want to go for a test drive. Pray the COVID gets and people start moving out and decide on a vehicle. Now, the biggest advantage in this is that Masood Automobiles has started this. This is an article that came on the 8th of May, 2020. That is just 10 days ago. How many automobile dealers have gone into doing something like this? If the others have not, what is the edge you have got against the others, against the competition in ensuring that you are capturing customers? So sitting at home, you can still do a lot, serve, connect, serve your customers and satisfy them. Now, before I move into this, do you all have any other ideas that you came across? Anything else that you thought of? Anything else you said, wow, in this last 10 days or 15 days or month? Nothing coming
I would like to share something.
Please, Zakaria, thank you.
There is this mall in Qatar. I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's the Mall of Qatar. So okay. There was one children's store which had opened up their online shopping thing. So you could basically choose your products online and then have them delivered to you. So they actually had a 3D simulation happening. So you could actually walk into the store visually, virtually, sorry, virtually, and you could actually go to each counter or each cubicle or each section or each shelf and literally go and click. And when you click on it, you actually see the price, the item name, the code, and things like that, which I found very innovative comparatively to things like that.
In fact,
that you usually see.
It's fabulous to think of it. And it's so simple. It's so simple. I mean, what you shared, I want to thank you very much for sharing that, because this is where innovation and creative ideas come forth. This is where the creative juices come up. As you're telling me, and I'm just thinking, if the organization, if the mall, if the store is smart, innovative, they are exploiting the cameras that are already placed in their stores. And then they're telling that, hey, that's our store. We have, let's say, 10 alleys in there. Age group wise, we have these different alleys of things.
Correct.
And see if you can give them a virtual tour of the kind of things that you have, where you can move around, pause, you want to see that, okay, fine. And then see what is it called. And then go to their e-commerce store itself to check by name and the price and see whether you want to buy that. Yeah, it's a fabulous idea what you just did. Now it's a question of how innovative and creative they can get and prepare themselves to work on offline. Super, thank you so much. You want to add something more?
No, that's it. So
okay,
it was a little overwhelming to have something like that. You never see it on a daily. You never see it. An example.
There you go. When you say overwhelming, yeah, that's important at these times.
Correct. Something
Thank
unique.
you very much.
That's what sells now.
Yeah. Anybody else? Yesterday, my daughter just sent me a link of a company called Urban. And this is an app which you can download. And if you want to take a house on rent, they have houses of different categories, price range, localities in Dubai. And you can have a virtual tour of the house from the time you enter from the lift, the entrance, open the door and go inside the house and look around and come out. This is like a virtual experience that you do when you're going to, let's say, rent a house, buy a house, or many people have online, they want to display a house or a model home. On the same lines it was, this came as Urban, it's called, and she just shared it with me yesterday. And it's a nice way sitting at home where I can now think, hey, I'm getting so much as a rent. The other place is going to be cheaper for me. Maybe I should look it up. Then I'll call, I'll find out, I'll find things out, and then I'll see when I can move. No sooner it's possible, I'll move out when I can start getting out of this COVID confinement. So there are so many things that can be done. It's just a question of you need to exploit technology today to your advantage and bring it to your feet and make it work for you. That's the way I see it. Okay. Gaining the post-pandemic, how do you get the edge over? Now, the question we all would be asking, what's in it for the customer after the pandemic is over? I feel from a customer's point of view, the customer develops trust towards an organization that has stood by in difficult times. Or they have comfort and peace. I will take Zakaria's example now. Children at home are tired, bored, and don't know what to do. How do you distract them? Okay, let me go to this mall in Qatar. Let's look up some toy that you want and I can afford. Let's do a virtual tour. Let's try to see if you can get this doll for you or whatever must be the toy. Get it home and you have your child sitting quiet for at least some time. When they are locked up, they're equally in a situation, they're equally having a challenge, the child also. You think it can help? And do you think that particular toy shop is one up against all the other toy shops in Qatar or in Dubai? Because even a person from Dubai can buy from that Qatar shop and have it sent across in a couple of days maybe. Think about it. What's in it for the company? Well, competition is on reboot mode. You are up and running. Let me give you a very simple example. If you are in a position to take care of your staff and everybody is doing a good job working from home. They're all well ventilated and they're all working as a team together and they're looking at in unison towards the customer. Everybody's spirits are up. When corona confinement stops and you still have to gain some customers, you already have some customers under your fold. And when you have some customers under your fold, and like we discussed earlier, like Glenn said, you can speak, one customer can speak to 48 customers. He can also speak about a good experience and it can be heard at least to 24, if not 48, at least to 10, if not 48. And those 10 customers will have more trust on the organization that is working up, alive and kicking during the confinement. That is your business edge you would get. It makes you an industry leader. Managing customer expectations is not a challenge. It depends how you see it. Customer retention, acquiring new customers and customer loyalty. And you can pride your employees who really are the true ambassadors of the company. They have stood by you. Remember, you run the show, but you run the business, but they run your show. And if they can do that, you need to be proud of the team. What's in it for the employee? Primarily, he has a job. That's going to give him the comfort to work and do better. You or he is ready for a new way of working and living. He says, no worries, I can work from home. Should not be a problem. A sense of achievement. 60 days back, 59 days back, it came as a cultural shock for me. I'm going to be sitting at home and I can't go to office. I cannot do here or there and do nothing. But today I find I can do it because I have done it. Today I'm on day 59, 60, I'm managing it. I can do it tomorrow also. Everything is fine. I've got used to a new environment altogether. I'm fine with this. And you can pride your company because it will be a great place to work. They have secured your job as against the millions who are out there looking for a job today because they have lost their jobs because organizations were in a state of not knowing what to do, how to go about doing things, how to be a leader, what kind of stuff. People were all over the place that they did not know how to handle the situation. And you can. Glenn, you want to share something?
Yes, I do. I would, if you don't mind, I would like to share a very live example from my workplace. We operate a brand called Great American Cookies, which is in Saudi Arabia. And what we have recently come up with is we sell cookie cakes. Okay, so these are cookies which we decorate according to what the customers like it, how they like it. So what we have recently done is we have kind of created this DIY kits, which is like the rave right now on YouTube. Do it yourself is the full form of DIY, where we give them the icing bags and they kind of take the cookie cake home and all the kids go home and decorate it, during their free time, and then it's also edible.
Absolutely.
So what happens after that is that the parents have their loyalty because at least for the next 2 hours, the kids are enjoying the icing and they are enjoying the cookie cake as well. And yes, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah. So after we finish, so the parents like to do that, and we also give them some images like of a Mickey Mouse or something like that, like a McDonald's, where they can easily draw them and they enjoy eating it. And at the same time, from the employee perspective, they do have kind of something that they feel they're doing for the kids. And we also pass on some cookie cakes to the hospitals, to the frontline staff, which kind of like for every so many cookie cakes sold, we'd also kind of pass on some to the frontline staff. And we also are doing the same thing with the cupcakes. So the employees also feel a sense of achievement that, yes, I'm doing something not only for the kids, but also for the front line. And that's my way of giving. So it kind of benefits a 360 view, right from the customer to the company, to the owners, and to the employees as well.
I think it gets to be a win-win-win-win situation.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you so much. In fact, there are so many things you can think of from whatever the industries you might be in. Even now, if you want to share something, please do. If later you want to connect with any of us, please do. We are, like, I work 24/7 with where customer service is concerned. And it just energizes me, it doesn't tire me. It's no more work for me because I don't do that. So I'll be more than happy to hear. I'll be more than happy to share. And it's just fun, in my opinion. Thank you very much, Glenn, for that. And thank you, Zakaria. This is a very important slide, which I thought, in my opinion, that post the pandemic effect, if you are up and going and alive and kicking today, when the pandemic is over, you will make sure that you have more customers under your fold. This is an imbalanced weighing scale. The same standard of service, can you see that here? Same service standards. You have not changed your standards, what it was before or what it might be today when you're in confinement. If you can manage your standard of service and deliveries during your confinement, you are already maintaining what you were doing in 2019, and you need to be less worried as we move to the post-COVID stage, because those people who have been lost are still moving helter-skelter and trying to work out how to get their act together. But if you have done it, you are already paces ahead of the other organizations where it comes to working from remote, working from home, the comfort level, the way of managing customers, the way of delivery of services, way of delivery of products and other things, complaint handling, invoicing, collections, whatever it must be, you already are ready with all these kind of stuff. So your service might remain the same, but you will automatically get more customers, because customers will endorse you, customers will believe you, customers will come by you. Because at the time when I was nervous, I did not know what was happening. There was somebody who could help me and give me some comfort and take care of me, whether it was from a doll point of view, whether it was a confectionery point of view. Let me give a small example. In these last 60 days, one of the airlines, Indigo from India, I have received more than 5-6 mails from them saying that how they handle the COVID situation. Then they came out with how the call centers are getting so many calls coming in, please be patient with us. How they're having other call numbers that they could be taking into account. How to manage at times when you're having long haul flights. It is nothing, there's no flights happening now, but they were talking about how to manage when you're having long haul flights, what kind of exercises to do in flight. They're just keeping themselves alive. They said, we are there for you, don't worry, we have not gone anywhere. So the important part to see here is that they're in constant connect with you. They're not selling a ticket. The flight is not on air, but they're just in connection with you. Others are only sending me, your miles are so much and so much has expired and so much you'll redeem. Come on, you send me every other month. At this time, how are you going to connect with your customers and keep them abreast of what's happening? And if you can make a sale, nothing like it. So those customers are going to remember you when you are in times of distress or some kind of a situation. There was one supplier who was there, one shop that was there, one mall that was there who was giving you service. And you'll tend to automatically get more customers with the same amount of effort without increasing your effort. I feel that's a very, very important thing. And with that, I think we have more or less come to the end of the session. And if anybody wishes to get in touch with Serendip, here are the details, which will be shared in the recording, I am sure. Or if anybody wishes to get in touch with me, that's my details, where I will be more than happy to help you in any way that I can, in any manner that I can. And I am sure Serendip, Malwan and we are working on more workshops regarding customer service and different aspects connected with customer service and how to be better in your business by keeping your customers happy. So we would be running these workshops in the months of June, July and beyond. But we would also love to hear from you as to what kind of trainings you look for and what we can do for you, what kind of things we can help you with. Glenn, you wanted to say something?
I just had one question actually.
Yes,
and this is I will use the analogy of the chicken came first or the egg came first. So okay. It's with your pillar number 2, which is the communication part of it. And
Yes.
just wanted to get your advice. I think this must be for everybody else as well, that if you walk into a store and the customer representative across is kind of dealing with you, and then he suddenly gets a call and he starts attending the call, who is the priority, the one across the counter or the one on the phone?
Good question. Is anybody out there who would like to voice their thoughts to Glenn's query? Okay. You have gone into the store. You are talking with the customer service agent at the store, and he gets an official call. Let me put it, not the mobile. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Fine. So he gets an official call, and who should take priority? Actually, it should be handled by a third person who might be at the back, or a backup for this person, and he handles the call. That will be the ideal situation. But we may not always have an ideal situation. Then the best way to take this forward would be that I will tell you, let's say I'm the customer service agent. I will tell you, Mr. Glenn,
yes,
I've got the call. Can you just give me a minute, if you don't mind, let me attend to this and come back to you. Would that be okay for you?
Sure.
If you say yes, I will attend to it. If you say no, I would have no choice but to leave it ringing. Okay, that's the scenario number 2. From there, if you have told me yes, I will say thank you very much. I will attend to that call and I will tell him, can you please, what is it about? How can I help you? Let him spell out his requirement and tell him, again, this communication comes into play. Communication comes into play. I am attending to a customer. Is it okay? I feel like I will be spending 10 minutes with Glenn. So I will be spending, can I come back to you in about 15 minutes if you don't mind? Can you please leave your name and number with me? I'll personally call you. Communication as to how you tell the customer, I will personally call you in 15 minutes, but I know I'm going to take 10 minutes with you. And on-time performance, give him a call in 15 minutes and say, thank you very much for your understanding. How can I help you now? This should have been the ways to handle a situation like this, because you're juggling 2 people and a person in front of you knows very well that's an official call coming in, not a personal call. He doesn't have a backup. And how can he handle this and that together? You know that a call is coming in, that person on the other end doesn't know. For him, the phone is just ringing and there's nobody in the store, probably it's closed. So you can accommodate by telling him, okay, can you just give me a minute? Let me attend to that call. Once again, time plays a key role. Just a minute, it plays a key role here. You need to talk for a minute to the customer who's called you and then tell him I'll get back to you. Unless he just wants a location or a timing or something of the place. And come back to you and attend to you. Did that answer your...
Yes, you did. Brilliantly answered, I would say. Brilliantly. I mean, that's what I was looking for, which unfortunately in our part of the world, you don't see it happening often. Very rare.
This is a step-by-step process you need to take. And as you keep doing it, you learn that and that becomes a habit, a second nature for you. And this is where training comes in. This is where on-the-job training comes in. And this is where counseling comes in. This is where you start working smart rather than working hard. So here you try to keep 2 customers happy and you communicate well with them. You show the right attitude and the manner of doing it. With your permission, may I attend to this call? So it's very simple. It's not difficult, but then the question is how you put it across and how the message goes across to them. Anything else? Are you okay, Glenn?
Yes, perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. I just wanted everybody to know that as well.
Yeah. I mean, there are lots of tips and tricks like this that we can always use, when we are handling customers, which is giving them the comfort and the happiness also. Any more questions? We still have, we've just touched the time of 6:30, which is like 2 hours since we started late. Apologies for that once again.
No, thank you so much. Everything is okay.
We would love to hear your feedback. please give us your feedback, whether it's one word, one sentence, or it's a paragraph. We would love to hear from you. And with that, I hand over back to Malavan.
Thank you very much. I think it was nice to hear a lot of the examples and the experiences. I sincerely hope that it was a very good learning for everybody. There are more programs coming up. Please be in touch with us. For the ones who have registered through Eventbrite or through the Zoom, we will be having your email ID. So I will send you the link for today's webinar, the recorded one. I think we'll be sharing with you only the video, not the actual slide, because you still need explanations for the slides. Okay, so please refer the video. It will be a YouTube video link. If you have any challenges, please share with us. So we'll do the best we can to guide you through this. Thank you very much. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you very much for your hearing and for your contribution and engagement.
Thank you, Malabar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night. Bye-bye.